So right now, I'm on a 1 minute chart. I don't know why it's, doing 1 minute, 30 seconds. Uh, no idea why, but whatever the case is, this candle is governed by time and price. Do you see how it moves up in the range because of the y-axis?
Yes.
And currently, it's occupying this time slot. Think of it that way. This is the 10:26 a.m. time slot, and it'll be open until 10:27 because 10:27 will close this one and begin the new one. So until 10:27, this 10:26 is going to be active for 60 seconds. And it's going to move up and down, and what it's doing in that time window, it's creating the high and low. And that's it. That's all it's doing. And this candle, hold on, let me get something that's more obedient because this 1 minute chart is really disobedient. Let's see, 10:27. So this is saying this next candle right here, this is a 2 minute chart. So every candle's lifespan is worth 2 minutes. So it starts and then 2 minutes later it dies or it prints. That's it. And then the next one begins its printing process. And what it does is it ticks up and down in that space of time until it finds a high and low or until it closes. And that's it. Any comments on that?
Nope.
So I already know for a fact that the next candle will occupy this space right here. And I can even tell you when it's going to do it in 30. Dang, these things are so disobedient. What do I mean by disobedient is that there's a timer over here. And if I'm on the 2 minute chart, this should be on like every 2 minutes it should wind down or give me a new candle. So sometimes it's because of the server. So like I can do Euro USD on a different server,
Interesting.
like Oanda, and sometimes for some reason it feeds the data differently. See, these are usually starting in 5 minute, they're usually more obedient. What I mean to that, they stick to the more accurate time window. Like they're born and they print 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So 10:30 begins the next 5 minute candle. That's why you see there's a minute 37 seconds left of this candle. So when this candlestick closes here, this timer is up, this candle will print and it will be solid and it will stop moving and it's not dynamic anymore. It's going to be anchored into the slot. And what it will leave behind is the history of the high and low of that time range that it occupied. So this candle started at 10:25 and it will close at 10:30. And in that 5 minute time window, it would show you the amount of price that it covered in between that high and low. So 1 minute left, and then I can guarantee you that the next candle will print right beside it. We'll begin right beside it, and we'll um yeah, you'll just see. Watch the clock. Watch how precise. Watch how it's just so basic, like how precise it is. Like I could tell you in 35 seconds a new candle will be born. I wouldn't be lying to you. It's undeniable. My goodness. Except for this disobedient charts. But
We get
that
it. We get it.
you get the concept. But yeah, they're really bad right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my computer or something. But yeah, like for daily candles, for example, there's a 24-hour window. Hour candles, that's a 1 hour window. 4 hour charts, each candle is 4 hours. 15-minute candles are worth 15 minutes. Monthly candles are worth a month. 12-month candles are worth 12 months. And they all undergo that same procedure. They all move up and down for that amount of time that they're worth. And they're moving up and down and finding highs and lows throughout that time.
Mhm.
And all it's doing, the candles, is just undergoing the process to completion till it reaches the end of its boundary that was set by the time. So in this case, this is a daily candle. In 6.5 hours, that would reach the boundary of this daily candle. So then that means that this candle will complete and the next one will begin. So there's a lot more time that goes into building a daily candle than there is going into a 4-hour candle.
Right.
You only need 4 hours to build one of these candles versus 24 hours to build one of these candles. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
How did understanding those limitations help you?
Mm, I don't have to look for anything else
Why not?
because it's literally all right there. uh, I
So
mean,
let me put something into practice then. Watch this. If I were to put this here, the next day is going to be a down day. Okay? I'll give you the answer in advance. This is the day's low, correct?
yes.
Yep.
Everybody would
Correct.
have to agree because that's like I'm on a daily chart and that's the low of that daily candle. That's the low, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Undeniable. When I hit next, what do you see the next day did?
It targeted
Went
that
below
low
that previous low.
It
and filled in. Oh,
It almost looked like it just ran after that low. And then when it
Mm-hmm.
did, it just moved away from it. Do you guys see it? Like between
Yes.
here,
Mm-hmm.
it got in
Mm-hmm.
and came back up.
Yep.
It was almost like that space beyond that low was an objective.
Right.
And then it
It's
just
like
logically showed a reaction. And because of the time, it found the closing right there. But it started up here, and what it did was it ran straight down for that low and reacted. So that was the objective, was that low. So price moves with an intent.
mm-hmm.
And look what it's referencing itself.
mhm. Yep.
And what candle am I referencing? A 1 hour chart, a 3 hour chart? What
That
kind of
daily.
Daily.
so then how much time should I expect for this this objective to take?
A day.
A day.
24
Yeah,
hours.
about in between a day or three. Boom, it took 1 day here. Because it's relevant, I chose a targeting relevant to that timing. Look at another way I could do it. Here's the frame for the next day, the down day. I can drop in. So this window right here, this is that daily time frame that's going to build that one down daily candle. And it's going to go after this low over here. We're just seeing it from the 15-minute chart. Now we already know the day is going to open and run after that low and react. Watch. But instead of one candle just showing it to us, since we're on the 15-minute chart, each candle is worth 15 minutes. But I have the daily time frame highlighted. This is a daily time range, but I'm on the 15-minute chart. So I'm watching the day literally unwind. I'm watching the storyline of the day unfold that actually generated the little movements inside the day within the 24-hour period of time that were actually generated to create that down candle to reach for that objective down there. That's what's happening right here. See, like, who would have thought that it spent this much time up here before getting down there? This is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It almost, since it's Wednesday and it's this still for this long, it kind of almost gives me an idea that it's going to move at 1400 because of FOMC. Watch how crazy that would be. That would mean that this stuff is very mechanical. Where was it?
14. That's 2 o'clock, right? Yeah.
So
2 o'clock.
let's see what happens here. Green
2 to
light.
3 p.m.
Okay, I was about to say, shoot.
So that was like 10. Was that like 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
reacted
9:30.
in this window, the 8 and the 9 and the 10 area.
Yeah.
So, but look, now target achieved. This would technically be where target is. So if I were looking at this price run and this was the objective,
Mhm.
how much time is this taking to get down there?
Almost a day.
Almost a day, right?
Yeah, majority of the candle.
Within a day, right?
Yep.
Yep.
What is that target? Where did I get that target from?
The
Previous
previous
day.
Prior
day
day.
candle.
I got it from the daily chart, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So when I frame the window that the next candle is going to be born in, when I have that level highlighted and I drop in, I have a higher time frame objective. That's what that looks like. So my whole mind, well, even if the candle was up here, my whole mind was to get down here. So as it's printing, I'm looking for reasons to get into sells before the market reaches that target. That's the idea of point blank at your face trading.
Right.
You
And
see,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say it's really interesting how the open price was so close to the previous day's high that it didn't take that out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. How about if you draw the other objective, which is the high?
Okay, I see.
Is that you guys got to understand the context.
Mhm.
Great question.
This day is reacting off of buy stops, so it's moving away from those orders. They're already getting filled on this first day,
Right.
and in fact, right here it actually broke down. So this is the pullback, technically, right there the first time.
Mhm.
If you look at it like this,
Right.
something like that. I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But all I'm showing you is that from the start of this candle time frame, this daily time window that I was looking at, from the 15-minute chart, I can actually watch the storyline, the candles move, the different wiggles and jiggles that it does to get towards its objective. And it's using time and price to do it, to map itself to that point. Watch the reaction. And that's the close of the candle right there. Because if I put the next candle, if it goes on the line, this candle, the next candle that goes on this line is the open of the next frame. So right here, the close of this up candle is actually the close of this daily time frame. This daily time frame, if you group all of these 15-minute candles, if you push them all together, they create what kind of candlestick?
Daily.
Daily.
So if you look at the open of this entire frame, the highest point of this frame, the lowest point of this frame, and the closing point of this frame, you should actually be able to see the entire daily candlestick even from here. For example, open, close. That's the body. Everything else outside of the body is a wick. You'll see if I hide the data, you'll see the daily candle. That's the daily candle that we see from the daily chart. That's the same exact one. I just grafted it on there by hand by blocking together all these 15-minute candles within this frame. The boundary of these frames, all I did was filled it in with these colors and I grouped them together using these boundaries, and this is the data that it produced, this candle right here, which is
Right.
exactly what you would see on the daily chart. Right there. There it is. See it?
Yep.
I just did it by hand.
Manual.
Yep. But I'm trying to show you guys like the idea behind it. Like remember, don't lose the what we just learned before this. This is price moving across time. Now, here's where it started, here's where it ended. But point blank is that price moved what?
Down.
Down.
Down across what?
Time.
Time.
And how much time did it take to move to this point down here?
A day.
It took about 24 hours to get ultimately from this point on the y-axis down to this point on the y-axis. That's the story of price across time. It moved down. Now there's specific areas in this within this day. See, like if you'd have sold somewhere within here, wouldn't that have been great?
Mm-hmm.
If you'd have sold somewhere in here, wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
If you'd have exited here, wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. But why? You can recognize it, but why?
Why what?
Why would those be great? Why would those be the best entries and why would that be the best exit for that day?
Because we got permission to enter and permission to get out.
What do you mean? Like, where do you see that?
Opportunities.
Well, so is there something you see there that we don't? Like, what do you mean opportunity?
Well,
Trading activity.
See, you're getting ahead of
Okay.
it. We're on mechanics. Like, what in just bare mechanics can you see? Why is this the best place to get in and why is this the best place to get out?
Because if it prints a high, it's got to print a low.
well, because price moved
Comes out.
down ultimately, so it was best to get
Ooh.
it on a high to
Yeah.
ride it to the low.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Well, how come I didn't highlight all of these highs? Those are all highs.
It wasn't the right time.
Ooh, put it together, somebody, please. Do you guys see what's going on here?
You need the right time and the right price.
There it is. Time and price.
Time and
Governs
price.
how the market moves. So starting around this time window, the market began to unspool itself and began to generate the daily candle. So that if you try to sell up here and get out down here, that is called a day trade because you're capitalizing on the daily range, the daily time range and price range. But instead of saying the daily time range and price range, I'm just going to call it the daily range. And in the daily range, what I'm implying is the range of time of the day and the price range of that day. So do you guys understand what I mean by daily range?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the space of this time window right here, 24 hours, and this between the highest point of this 24 hours and the lowest point of this 24 hours, all create and generate the daily range, or the daily bar, or the daily candle, whatever you want to call it. Within that range, I pinpointed the best points to sell and get out. The reasons why these areas were the best points to sell is because of the time. These were all highs, but they were in a different part of the time window, of the timeline. So there's something about a certain part of the time window within every trading day that actually generates great movement and opportunity to get into those movements. Have you been able to study them? Or have you been trying to be too busy applying fibs and stuff that you actually missed it? To see just
Right.
how simple, like it's history. Data leaves behind its history so that you can just go study when it moves. Go study how it moves and when it moves. You just have to organize the data like this so that you can understand the windows that you're operating within. Now, that's just understanding it at a face-to-face mechanical level, understanding what opportunity is and like what you're doing in terms of trading activity with this data and interpreting that trading activity as a whole other thing. But I'm just saying, as far as mechanical observation is concerned, this is how you organize your daily window and how you study the areas, the pockets of time, the zones of time that generate these price movements. That's what you actually want to study. There are many levels inside of a day, but there are only like 1 or 2 levels that belong to the day trade. And that area is actually that belongs to a time space. And you want to find that time range where the high and low of the days form, and you want to master that for a while before you open up your skill, you know? That's the most basic level of candle building. The daily candle should be your smallest time frame to operate on. That's actually the smallest time frame that I operate in. By frame that's the smallest window you'll ever see on my screen. Is the daily time frame. Because then, like, I could be in the 5 minute, I could be in the 1 minute. See, I could still see that daily time frame even from the 5 minute, and I could jump in and out of little smaller opportunities. But again, you need to understand what defines opportunity. But again, to keep it simple for now, we're just seeing the best points in price and time that allows you to capitalize on these price moves before it got to that daily objective down here that we got based off the daily chart. I don't think you guys know it yet, but you really learned how to time an entry and time an exit all right here in this teaching. You really got to play this one back. It's really on point.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely rewatch this one.
I referenced a daily target for daily data.
Right.
Right, this is a daily target. I referenced it on a daily chart, and now I put a daily frame, and I'm trying to use this emerging data as it prints. I'm trying to get into it to jump into the cell before it gets there. And it looks like when the market actually, see, it started on this line. When the market actually got to a certain point in time right here, it like ran an operation. Look at it.
That's when it had its biggest movement.
Yeah, like objectively speaking, look at it. And then these are the best high points to enter within that area of price run, isn't it?
Yup.
So within this huge window of time, the 24-hour, you actually narrow down the best windows of trading to this area right here. And you can ignore the rest. And what you're doing is you're making an area for you to take high quality trades that actually pan out and pan out quickly.
Right.
That's how
Efficient trading.
Efficient trading. Yeah. You want to take less trades, but you want those trades to be bangers. This is how you do it. You qualify them based off of time, because we already said that the markets have a time boundary. The daily candle has to print in 24 hours. It's a slave to its design, so it has to build a body within a certain time window, and it does it consistently within the same time windows. And you can just take advantage of its own nature, and it happens every single time. You don't have to change like a strategy or see it as a butterfly one day. You could just keep seeing it for what it is. Narrow it down, narrow down the time window, narrow down the price window that gives you these best prices or these best entries and these best exits. And you don't want the spot in time or the spot in price. You want the range of price and the range of time. That's how you got to think. Because if you try to go for preciseness, like perfection, you're going to mess yourself up. You're going to miss entries everywhere. You're going to demand too good of a price sometimes. Now, if you demand a range of price and a range of time, you're going to be a lot more accurate. You're going to be a lot more precise. You're going to have a lot more opportunity. You'll see it. It's actually amazing. Again, I really highly recommend replaying this one, rewatching this one, because some really key things were said in it.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
So Edgar, the following day, as we reference what you have on the screen now, as far as the time and the range, you want to be mindful of utilizing those same times and prices for potential entries, right?
Yeah. Yep. Same thing. So let me
Oh, sorry.
let's see, watch, look. If I go to 17 here, this will be the next daily time frame. Now, all I'm gonna do is highlight a space of time to show activity. So I'm gonna do like right here, like it says, let me do 2:45. I'm gonna just do what this day says and put it over here and just see how close it is.
Mhm.
So from 2:45 to let's say about 12 o'clock. That range, that time range right there. 2:45. Right there. To 12. Let's see the activity within this green zone compared to the gray zones. What?
Yeah, this is crazy.
So it's as if the markets are affected by time zones. They
Mhm.
enter an area of time and then they become active. That's why it's like, that's why people don't understand what patience is. I'm waiting for this golden time, bro. Like I want the time where the market's actually jumping. And this is actually like a fact. You can see this in reality. There's a time where your favorite pizza store is open. There's a time when you can get it. There's a time when you can't get it. There's a time where it's packed. There's a time where it's slow.
And it's a time when there's a lot of people in the parking lot and you gotta find parking space.
And there's a time where you got nothing but space. And there's a time where it's like, bro, the parking lot is closed. There's nothing going on today. You're too early.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is not open on Sunday. Remember that.
Or that was last week. You're too late.
Heard this joke.
But it's all true. That's all that happens here. The market, you really want to be interested in the space. That's what I first started with. The space, the environment, the X and the Y. When current price enters a certain space, it becomes alive in a weird way. Check this out.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm trying to tell you something. It's the same time window I just borrowed over from yesterday of activity.
Mhm.
Same exact window of time.
Hey, Edgar, I got a question.
What's up?
So recently, I kind of just been kind of just waiting for New York to open because like New York is most likely going to be bigger than London. Do you just do you still look at like London session like at night or maybe like you said like a pending or something like that?
Yeah,
If you see something nice.
sometimes before I go to sleep, I already see everything that's set up for like the evening sessions, like the over
Mhm.
sessions, and I'm able to just put pendings and just wake up to them being hit or continuing on the morning sessions.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I do the same thing. I remember like back like
Look,
I used to stay up through like
look, this,
London all the way to New York.
oh yeah, I used to, man, it was crazy. But look, over here just proves it. This area, look, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then this area, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's the both exact spots where it would have been the best spots to trade. So either way, you could pick either one. You don't need the high of the day. You just need to be part of that run for the day.
Right.
This right, this is the run for the day. I would have loved to catch Bennett Pier and get out down here. That's a price run. A price run is a trade that you want to be a part of. You want to get in and out of in a price run. And then look how it ends. Now see how the market looks like in the gray zones and look how it looks like in the green zone. And that was all predetermined.
Mhm.
Want to do it again?
Yes, sir. So do you really because like you said earlier, you said you like building dailies. Do you still do weeklies or monthlies or
Yeah,
it all depends?
I build like to whatever comes up. So at the end of the year, I'll be trying to get into a 12-month position. Right now, I'm trying to work into a 6-month position. Like I'm just doing
Right.
whatever time gives me access to. So right now, being that the new 6-month candle finally opened. Well, that's the only time of the year. This is the last 6-month candle of the year I can try to be a part of.
Right. Based off the previous 6 months or maybe the previous one or two that you've seen.
Yeah, exactly. And then same thing with the quarter. This is the new quarter started this month. This is a new month. This a new month just started, but it also just started Q3 of the year. So you see, I'm talking
Right.
about time a lot. All these time areas or time ranges affect price. Or all of
Right.
these time ranges are actually already like built into price. Like all of time is already there. And you can cut up time however you want. I'm just tracking it in this example day to day. But you could track it month to month, week to week.
Hmm.
You could layer them. You could track a weekly move and take advantage of all the day trades inside of it while holding the weekly trade.
Yeah, I like the weekly ones.
Yeah, you could layer your trades however you want. The point is, do you understand how time is governing price?
Right.
Any other questions?
None pops up right now. Oh, oh shoot, never mind.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, can you like mark off like the high of the previous day and the low, and then
Sure. This is the previous day low.
mhm.
How do I know? Because within that frame of time, from that start to end, that's the lowest point within that window. So that's
Right.
the lowest point of that daily frame. The
Yep.
highest point within that frame, that's the high of that day. And that's how you do that. I dragged it across into tomorrow's day range to see how this day will play with those reference points. Very,
Yeah,
very specific stuff, and I'm not even I'm not marking the chart off. I'm putting reference points that are already there. I'm just putting the tool there so that you can see them, basically.
yeah, I just think it's cool, like just to see how it just interacts with each area.
And so those points you're just looking for an interaction.
For now, I just want
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want you to see what happens with them. They're just how they're being used, how they dance around these areas. For now, that's it. I just want you to see it as plain as that,
Okay.
just to keep it simple. And the main emphasis is look at how the market behaves inside of a day within a certain time window from a 15-minute chart.
Perfect.
But you're looking
Can't
at,
make it up, man. Can't make it up.
look at that. It's like they put gas into a fire. And so what's interesting about how it referenced the previous day low is that it got below it. And what's cool about understanding a time and price environment is that things are measurable. So you can get really cool data like this day, Friday, June 30th, went below Thursday's low by 24.8 pips. So the low of this day is 24.8 pips lower than the low of this day, and it was placed 19 hours after the low was placed this day. You can get really specific information like that. So that's what it looks like within that window. Let's see what it looks like in here. Sleepy. Very interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a time where it's just building up something, and there's a time when it just expands, and then there's
Yeah,
another
it
time
sounds
where
like
it's just
almost
dormant.
like it's like breathing, like there's a time your body like literally expands and then it releases, expands and releases.
Yeah.
The market breathes. It has a rhythm. Tell me this, pop quiz. Why do you think the market has a rhythm? Rephrase, why do I know the market has a rhythm? It has to operate off of that.
Because it has a low and a high.
Because it always starts one place and ends somewhere else.
It has to have a rhythm because it has time.
Oh, shit.
Music is governed by time as well, right? They
Hmm.
have these things,
Right.
they have these things called time signatures.
Yep.
If you don't obey the time signatures, you'll be off beat and the whole entire thing sounds off.
Yeah. Then you got like tempo.
Yeah, tempo and that's like almost Italian for tiempo. In Spanish is tiempo, and then that means time.
Mm,
So rhythm. There's a rhythm, there's a timing. So the markets actually have a timing mechanism built into them to generate the big giant pushes that build the daily candlesticks. The markets have to be within this timing window for them to actually generate. And I hope only with just these two back-to-back predetermined ones prove that case that it actually happens in there.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So the best way is to sync up with the rhythm of the market. Yep.
Yep, you have to submit. There's nothing we can put on the price that can what's it called? Influence what the price does. We have to submit to what it's already governed by. But what's cool is it's already governed by something. You just have to submit to it. It's that simple. So this is what it looks like in the gray zone. The last thing we did was took out a previous day low. We left two highs now. Well, we left this low and this high as well, but the previous high was still intact, so I just left it on. I left it to carry over. And then this low, I just leaving it there because right now a storyline is unfolding. The last event to occur was a take of a low.
Right.
That's important information. So now we're entering that time zone where the body is going to be generated.
Well, you look at that.
This is where we are actually right now. Today's going to be a tight day from what I could tell.
Man, these classes be so refreshing.
Why?
It's just like every time you just come back, it's like you get more and more understanding.
What made you say that? Like you got more understanding about what?
Well, I could say like it's been a while, so like a lot of stuff, like how we first talked about in the first class, a lot of stuff just gets jumbled up in your head, and then here it's just like concrete, just it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't go outside of this, bro. We can't go outside of time and price,
Yeah.
like at all. So by the way, I don't have these usually on my charts. We were just, again, just for the recording's sake, this is just a demonstration to show how the market comes alive in these certain time windows.
Yeah, it's like training wheels.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just highlighting it.
So I have a question right quick. If